Someone should say something here. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody, thanks for connecting here. We are going to give just a few more minutes for a couple more people to join us here. We do see the attendance is great. So thanks for being with us a touch early here, and then in the next 2 or 3 minutes, Alex and myself will get rolling.
I think we're good. We're closing in on 11:05. I think we're gonna have to kind of bite the bullet and start it. Sorry for the people that are just kind of coming in at the same time, but this will be recorded or is being recorded, and it will be available to you afterwards. And I've been told right before the call that we're also likely going to have a second session. Not because this content is not going to be, valid for more than a couple of weeks, but it's because we know that our partners like to have the opportunity to ask live questions. So we're going to be running this same presentation again in a couple of weeks for partners who may have missed it and want to get their questions answered. So otherwise, without further ado, we're getting started. I'm going to let you start, James, just to say the title of the presentation and who we are, if that's okay. Otherwise, I can do it.
Yeah, no, I'll have something to contribute here. So I'm essentially just here to give Alex a pause every now and then, and to do the best darn intro. So here we go. So really the objective for today, to shed some light on a lot of the changes that are happening around the Microsoft Partner Network. As many of you may have heard, dating back to last year, there's some announcements, some rumblings of some changes on the way. And now it does seem that we are getting closer to these changes starting to take effect. So what we're really going to try and do today is just give you some of the steps, some of the tips, insights, if you will, as to how to best prepare. So the two gentlemen, or the gentleman and myself that you're looking at, are both members of the Sherweb team here. So Microsoft Partner Program Manager is Alex. So many of you, I hope, have had a chance to deal with or speak with him
No,
at some point, infinitely
they've had to deal
knowledgeable.
with me. Some of them are still taking medication because of it.
Yeah, he grows on you. But no, he is an infinite source of knowledge. I personally refer to Alex more often he would probably like. But when it comes to mapping the partner experience or the partner benefits, how to leverage the ins and outs of it all, Alex has been instrumental in Cheryl's positioning around this. And that being said, this webinar, as well as the future renditions and versions that we'll be coming out with, will all have a big part of Alex in them. So thank you so much, Mr. Laflamme. And I am the other guy, the intro fellow here. So my name is James. I work with some of you. This is some of the names here. In the Microsoft side, primarily telecom has been my experience here at Sherweb. But I am now a little bit more on the productivity side. So just hoping to one day get up to Alex's level in to some degree at least.
At least like the version of Alex that you think is a great person and all that you need to aspire to, and not the actual mortal with the many flaws that I have that I actually am. I can get you to talk to my wife for 5 minutes, and your image of me will change drastically.
Shatter.
So the agenda for today, we are going to, since we are kind of casting our net a bit wider than usual. Most of the people here are Sherweb partners, but some of them aren't. So we're just going to say what Sherweb is. The main thing is going to be talking about what is the new Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. As James mentioned, we're going to try to offer as many insights as possible, and I think you'll like the format that we're talking about for those insights, and then some important dates that are coming up, and a Q&A section so that you can get all of your questions answered, or at least answered with, I don't know, I'll come back to you, but hopefully I have all of the answers. So who is Sherweb? In different presentations, I've kind of talked to people that were not in the IT industry, and I said that Sherweb is the equivalent of a supermarket. You can go to a butcher, you can go to a fishery, you can go to a farmer to buy your vegetables, but it's a lot more convenient, cheaper, safer in some ways to go to the supermarket and get all of these things from the same place and then have them, at home. Same concept with Sherweb. We are a cloud marketplace where you have all of the best products that the cloud has to offer from companies that you know and trust, all under one roof. with some extra partner services that we can offer, things like NOC services and professional services, as well as other hosted solutions that we can offer as well. So if you are not a Sherweb partner, please do take some interest in finding out who we are. We've been incredibly successful and growing like crazy over the past couple of years. Our approach of being, a all-in-one cloud partner, a business partner to MSPs and VARs becoming MSPs has been quite a recipe for success. And now the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program overview. So the first thing that we have to understand is that the Microsoft Partner Network, the MPN, that name is actually going away. So after 30 years, they're changing the name of the Microsoft Partner Network. It is now becoming the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. So instead of MPN, you're going to start to hear a lot about MCP or MCPP. I don't know if we're going to add the second P at the end or not. But what is meant by this is that Microsoft has, taken a long, hard look at its partner program for many years now. A lot of you will remember that a lot of the changes started in 2019, and some of them were, abandoned because of the pandemic. But now they're coming back with them. They want partners that are involved, engaged with Microsoft fully to benefit from the Microsoft ecosystem and all of the resources that are available. They have found out, they found that with the old system, the silver and gold partners, a lot of the different competencies, a lot of the different ways were not, it was, it was like a lot of the partners, a lot of the end customers, not Sherweb partners, of course, but a lot of partners were trying to just kind of game the system and not really, get involved with Microsoft, just do the bare minimum, add whatever customers they needed to add, whether they were real or not, just to get the benefits and keep on doing their day-to-day business. This was not a great investment from Microsoft. So they're revamping the whole program so that if you are a partner that wants to go all in on the Microsoft ecosystem and really wants to learn, to get some certifications, deepen your knowledge, this new program will be there to help you to accelerate your growth and to reward you greatly for these new changes. The other thing, as James has mentioned, is that for once, with these changes that are coming with Microsoft, it's not happening right away. There is a lot of time to plan still. So with these types of webinars, we really want to make sure our partners will become well aware of these changes. They'll know the milestone dates, things to check, making sure that they've done their homework, and then some of it will literally be homework. To be able to get on board from day one on the new partner program and benefit from it, not to be caught off guard. Non-Sherweb partners, people that are not, as exposed to this type of content, will be left with a disadvantage. So if you have, some people in your communities that are, rival MSPs that are not with Sherweb, expect to have a leg up on the competition starting this October, and especially October of next year when all of this comes into full effect. Some partners will wake up one day and they won't have any internal use licenses, they won't be able to get any incentives, and they won't know what happened. So they'll be calling you, and then you'll be able to say, hey, go watch the video from Alex from last year. So the program is changing from a competency, a silver and gold type model, to a single solutions partner designation that groups up the 6 different areas where different competencies used to kind of map out to. So we can kind of see that if you want to be a solutions partner for infrastructure, which is the main Azure, well, the old competencies that used to work in that same way were cloud platform and data center. If you want to be a solutions partner for modern work, which is what a lot of our partners will be dealing with, well, there's 6 different competencies that now map into that solutions designation. So it is reducing, it is simplifying. A lot of the stuff that's very complex right now is because both programs are going to be active for a long time, because again, none of this is coming into effect right away. It's going to take a full year for it to fully go into effect. So that transition period is going to be complicated. You're gonna want to rely on us, you want to lean on us a lot for the the updates to make sure that you understand what's going on. But eventually, once it's fully into effect, say like November 2023, it will be a lot simpler to understand where you are, where you're going as a Microsoft partner versus the current setup today. So we try to, again, our goal is to simplify, but it's a very complex topic. So we're covering as much as we can today. And like James mentioned, we're going to try to have an ongoing series of these webinars that focus on a specific partner in June, in July, and in August as well, so that everyone, every type of partner that we have that can be affected by this will have a roadmap to success with the new Microsoft program. So there is the full partnership revamp that we just talked about. There is now a new scoring system for the solution areas. The benefits package is being revamped as well. Then, of course, there are other impacts, namely the incentives that are eventually going to be affected. So as far as the partnership revamp is concerned, on the top in blue, we have what the old version was. So you had, your network member sign up for the membership. It's free. You could buy the Microsoft Action Pack as a network member. There are no criteria, no requirements for that other than to pay the annual subscription fee. Then you had the silver competency. You had 18 unique competencies, some of them with different options. So there was like 21 different ways to get to the silver level. Some of them with some strange metrics. Some of them with sales, some of them with certification. It was pretty much all over the place. For people like myself, it was great because I kind of held all the keys, all the knowledge for partners. Like, oh, this competency works this way, this works that way. But I will admit that it was very complicated. You had an annual fee at the silver level, and you were able to get the incentives from Microsoft and the free licenses. Finally, you had the gold competency at the gold level. Same kind of stuff as the silver competency, just more of the same. So more sales for that particular metric, more exams for that particular metric, that particular competency, and the annual fee was $47.30. Now, in the new version, what we're seeing right away is that there is no more silver level. So it's still free to sign up for the membership. You can still buy a Microsoft Action Pack without any criteria. So for the startups, the partners that are just getting started, there really is no impact for you. The goalposts haven't moved per se. But for partners that were at the silver level or were gold qualified but hadn't purchased gold, this will be the first big change. If you want to stay into the Microsoft ecosphere, as of October 2023, your annual fee will be $47.30 in US dollars. I think it's 5,800 in Canadian. That's something that you first must want to plan for. And now what used to be called advanced specializations and the expert programs are now becoming that final level on the new program. They're now just called specializations, and they don't incur any additional fees. So if you reach the specializations components under a solutions designation, you're not going to be required to pay any extra fees to be able to have those badges. So how do we attain a solutions partner designation? I mentioned a little bit before that competencies were very different, very all over the place, how they were measured. With the new solution designation, all 6 solution designations work the same way. They all have 3 different categories. One is performance, which will always be about net customer add. So if it's an Azure, if it's the infrastructure designation, it's going to be an Azure customer add. If it's a modern work one, it's going to be a M365 customer add. And same thing for business applications and so forth and so on. There's always going to be a skilling component, which is exams, exams, exams. And for those, there's going to be an intermediate and an expert and an expert certification level, and both of them will have to be done. Because I'm sure most of you have just read the slide as well and saw that you need to have 70 points out of 100 to attain a solutions designation, but you must have points in each category. So it's going to be very rare to have someone that's just at 70 points, on the dot. It's likely going to be more like 75, 78, just to make sure that you have the intermediate and the expert certifications done as well. And then finally, customer success. It is all about growth. If you are adding users, adding team members, if it's Dynamics, adding workloads, if it's Azure or Microsoft 365, it's all about that growth. Luckily for that metric, with most of the partners that I've looked at those partner centers with, it seems that Sherweb partners, at least on the customer success side, they're all maxed out all the time. It's just like our partners are growing and growing and growing, so we are going to get that performance, adding new customers. That seems to work well. So if I can give you one first tip, is that it's all about skilling. It's all about the certifications that you're going to have to get over the course of the next year. And now, as mentioned, I know I think I'm moving fast. I don't know. I'm talking and the time is flying by. I don't know. Maybe there'll be more time for questions.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm sure we're going to get a bunch. There's one or two that came into the chat so far. We'll save them for the end. But yeah, it's there's a lot to take in. So definitely do leverage the chat through the webinar function here. We do have our team here eager to respond. And for all the recurring ones, let's say, we'll address those a little bit later on. But yeah, you earned yourself a little breath and even a sip of water, Alex,
All right,
should you so choose.
I'm parched. So Sherweb Insights. So these changes are coming. All of this information, that I've given is all available, on the Microsoft Partner Network as well. There is a whole solution area called Evolving the Partner Network that has all of these resources. I think there's like 15 different resources right now, deep dives into each solution area. Sherweb will also include full skill paths for each solution area. We're going to be adding those to our partner university so that Sherweb partners can, at their own pace, kind of, look at each of those solutions, which ones fits the most for them. But for this first one, we wanted to first help partners understand where they are on the map. Because the first thing that you do first thing that I do whenever I get to a shopping mall and I am completely lost because I see, all the stores and everything everywhere, is I look for a map and then I look for the little sign that says you are here, so that I can figure out where I want to go from there. So this is the first thing that we're doing. For a partner, if this describes you as a Microsoft partner, meaning that your current status is Microsoft Partner Network member, you've purchased an action pack or not, you're not a silver partner or anything like that. Your combined revenue for M365, O365, D365 is between $0 and $2,000 a month. You don't have any Azure revenue. There are no certified employees, under your roof right now. Then our recommendation for you is to, kind of not be worried, because nothing's really going to change for you. The action pack is still going to be available to you after October of this year and from the years to come. But we do say consider partnerships with other MSPs, maybe larger MSPs, or some sort of soft alliance with different buying groups or things like that by October 2023, which is again a full year and a half from now, to increase competitiveness, because there's going to be a shift in the industry at that point where larger MSPs are going to be much more competitive than smaller ones with the type of discounts and incentives that they receive from Microsoft. So getting yourself into a team, into an alliance of some kind, is a good idea to remain competitive on the Microsoft side. I mean, if you offer, professional services and all that other stuff, it might not affect you, but consider it. If your partner, your Microsoft partner status is currently a silver partner, or at least qualified for it, that your combined Microsoft billed revenue is between 3 and 10K a month, that you may or may not have some Azure revenue, up to 2K a month, that you might have some certified people, a couple of certified people on your team right now, then what we recommend right now is make sure you are looking into or have a plan for the cloud platform competency, the cloud productivity competency, and the small and mid-market cloud solutions competency. We also are recommending that you want to consider partnerships, soft alliances, things like that by October 2023 to increase competitiveness. But because there are, a few things, for this level of partner that you want to understand more, we're going to have another webinar in June, specifically focusing on this type of partner. So if this is you, if this is where you are on the map, make sure you come in June to our webinar where we're going to do, a much more in-depth um, road mapping, planning insights for that partner level for the upcoming 18 months.
And maybe just to add on to that, and again, to give you a little break, take some
Yep.
water, doing great. Another little thing I might add is for those who were just at the entry stages of the new MCP. Well, there too, just because you're not at a silver right now doesn't mean you're not steps away. So do come and see what the next step would look like for yourself, how you can better tailor, whether it be your business, your internal training, or what have you, to be able to achieve that next level as well. So not strictly for the silver, but for all those aspiring to be as well.
That's the way we're going to use. That's a great point. But yeah, if you're aspiring to get to that level, this will definitely be for you as well. We're not going to have any, MRR check at the door to make sure that you qualify for this type of webinar.
Exactly.
So yeah. So after that, if on the map you are at the silver level, but could be gold qualified, with the type of revenue and the competencies that you have, that your build revenues between 10 and 40K a month, that you have Azure consumption revenue between 2 and 10K a month. Certified employees, you have some, you had to have some, at least a couple of them. Then we recommend, there's one thing that you absolutely have to make sure at that level is that you ensure that you have the cloud platform competency at the silver level before the end of September. I cannot stress this enough. This will mean getting kickbacks for Azure between now and October 2023, or not at all. Because if you're not silver in cloud platform by September 30th, you will have to meet the criteria for the solutions designation to be able to receive Azure incentives, after October. And as we mentioned, those criteria are a lot more steep, a lot more difficult to obtain than just the silver competency in cloud platform. So if this is your partner status, the one thing you have to make sure silver in cloud platform before the end of September. We also recommend to consider purchasing gold if you qualify for it by the end of September for the internal use of rights licenses, because the benefits package will kind of follow you until your anniversary date that comes after October. So even if you see a lot of the shiny new benefits packages from the solutions designation, if your anniversary date is in August, let's say, you're not going to get to benefit from them until August 2023, like your renewal that comes after October 3rd. So you want to take as much advantage as possible from the internal use rights licenses that you can get under the old program. So that has to be done by the end of September. You will also want to consider, pause for dramatic effect, mergers and acquisitions by October 2023 to increase competitiveness. It's a little bit like the recommendation we're making for the smaller partners, but at this level, with that type of revenue, you are more in the driver's seat. So instead of just considering, alliances and partnerships, you can actually look for acquisitions and perhaps finding another partner the same size as you and do some acquisitions. We have some great partners in our ecosystem who have done some acquisitions and some mergers recently. And then whenever we have these discussions with them, it's a lot easier because they have a lot more people to get certified. They have a lot more customers that they can reach that can qualify for the different metrics. So it is an advantage to kind of consolidate everything under one roof. And then of course, we are going to have a dedicated webinar for this type of partner status or aspiring to be this type of partner status in July for this one. So stay tuned for this. And then finally, if your current Microsoft partner status is you are a gold partner, you may even have some advanced specializations already. Your Microsoft build revenue is over 60K MRR, over 20K of Azure. You have 10 certified employees, among, a staff of 50 or 100 or even more employees internally, then we are going to recommend It's just so dry today, like the air, like my. Then we recommend to consider additional strategic competencies for the internal use rights. One example, say right now you go into your partner center, you look at cloud productivity, you have the option to get gold because you met the sales metric. You just need one person to pass the MS 100, and you would be gold in cloud productivity. That would net you an extra 100 M365 E3s to use internally, and that can help a long way from now until your next anniversary date before you get to have these solutions partner benefits. So that's something to consider. You will want to consider trying to hit all of the different criteria and meet all the different requirements for solutions partner for October 3rd, 2022. Why do we say this? This is because of experience with Microsoft. Right now, they're saying that the program is going live on October 3rd. No other information, as far as that's concerned. But maybe in the middle of September, they're going to say, well, partners who opt in to the solutions partner program in October get an additional 5% discount, 2% cashback, something. They might give some sort of early adopter bonus. So we want to make sure that partners who could potentially plan to be a solutions partner from day one have the preparedness and are able to get there as well in case there is something like it, in case there is a benefit for them to hop in right away. And then much like for the regular gold partners, we do want to say that you will want to consider acquisition plays, whether it's acquiring other MSPs or just acquiring their business starting in October 2023 because of the competitive edge that you're going to have at that point. Again, all of the silver partners that were at the silver level will no longer exist. So they've either grown into a solutions partner, at the gold level, or they've thrown in the towel. They're thinking about exit strategies. They're thinking about selling their MSP. And we've had conversations with some partners that believe that October 2023 is when they're going to sell their business. So it is a great opportunity to consider acquisitions at that point and perhaps expansion into other markets. Maybe you've been localized in the New York State area, and because you are a big MSP now that can have all of these solution designations and that extra margin edge, you can go to the tri-state area and try to expand. Things like that you will want to plan for long ahead of time. And we will, of course, have a very long form webinar on all of this in August. Why are we waiting until August? Because we expect Microsoft to make some tweaks, changes, updates to the program. So we want to make sure that content about the solutions program is going to be as accurate as possible. Say something, James.
Important dates. You are
Yeah,
doing great, my friend. I can help a little bit here. I can read at a third grade level, so I'll give you a break here. But some of the key dates we're going to look for. So coming up in September, as you said, this is all going to take effect October 1st, or let's say the October 3rd. September 30th will be the last chance to renew any of the competencies that you do have. Something Alex and I were kind of just brainstorming as we prep for this. If you do have, let's say, some certifications, for example, that you need to earn some of these competencies, do allow for a certain delay. There is, I think we're saying is 45 to 60 days before those will actually appear in your partner center. So do give yourself that buffer. It's why we're trying to get ahead of it way up in May like we are now.
Yeah,
But
that's a great point because yes, for most competencies, it is just 72 hours. After the person has passed the exam, it takes 72 hours for the Microsoft Learn to sync with the partner center to get credit for that competency. But that's a great point that you mentioned because some of the competencies, for example, the cloud business application option under small mid-market cloud solutions, which is the only competency to be able to receive internal use right business central licenses, does have a 45 to 60 day delay in the reporting before those certifications are applied to the point system that that competency works with. So if you were, working towards getting that competency for the Business Central internal rights licenses, you will want to make sure you've passed all of your required exams by July 1st. Otherwise, you will not be able to have debt reporting done in time to be able to unlock those benefits before that fateful date. On September 30th, there is going to be a snapshot that's going to be taken from all of the competencies, all the benefits that you were that you were entitled to under the old program. And that will remain, for you all the way until your next anniversary date, so that when you renew, if you don't want to renew under a solutions partner yet, you'll get to keep all of those benefits. This does also include competencies that are at risk right now. So say, for example, last year you were able to meet the competency for Azure, so the cloud platform competency. And now today you go into your partner portal, you look at the competency, there's a red triangle that says, hey, by December of this year, which is when your renewal date is coming, you're not hitting the targets, you're not going to make it. You don't have to worry about that at all, because the snapshot is going to be taken in September. It's going to say you had that competency, so you'll be able to ride those benefits for that whole extra year. On October 3rd, when the new partner designation badges become available, that means that the legacy competencies will no longer be valid. So if you've ever used the Microsoft logo builder in the partner center, all of the old badges, all of the old icons that you could get are gone. Only the new ones will be available if you qualify for them. So right away, even without paying any fees or doing anything, if you have over 70 points in those categories by October 3rd, you will be able to start using those badges right away. Then for partners that have an anniversary date after October 3rd, so it's pretty much all of the partners, your next anniversary date after October 3rd is when you're going to get to choose. Do you take the solutions partner designation benefits, or do you keep the legacy benefits that you had under the old program? So if you were a multiple gold partner that had, tons of M365 E3s to use internally, and you're very happy with those and you want to keep those, and your renewal date is in January, you will be able in January to say, I want to keep all of the old benefits. You will also be able to choose from, if you want to take the new package instead. You will not be able to choose the new benefits as soon as the program starts. And this was a clarification from Microsoft last night. So this means that if you're looking at the new benefits package and you're saying, wow, M365 E5 is for everyone, this is what I want, this is perfect for my company, which is likely true. You will not be able to obtain those benefits on October 3rd, even if you qualify for solutions partner designation. It's only going to be on your next anniversary date that comes after October 3rd that you will get to choose either the new benefits package or the old one. If you have not met the solutions partner designation, criteria after October 3rd, again, you will have a whole other year to renew under the same price that you have. So if you're a silver partner, you'll still pay the silver partner price. If you're a gold partner, you'll pay the gold partner price. To renew your benefits package, it will no longer be called silver or gold, it's just going to be legacy benefits. And you will be able to continue to maintain those benefits all the way until October 2023. And right before October 2023, there is a little, asterisk that we want to remind partners, especially Sherweb partners, that took advantage of the stay on legacy as long as possible type of play that we had a few months ago. That the legacy incentives, as of today, right now, are slated to be expiring on December 2022. So that means that if you haven't moved your customers to NCE, after December, you're not going to receive those cashback incentives from Microsoft like you used to. But whether you are on legacy or on NCE, if you haven't met the solutions partner designations requirements by October 2023, you will no longer qualify for incentives. So this is the big thing that we were talking about as far as competitive edge. A lot of partners, especially non-Sherweb partners, are going to be caught off guard by this. They factored in the 4, 5, 10% that they get back from Microsoft, depending on which SKUs, into their business model. And then November 2023, they're going to be singing November Rain very, very hard from Guns N' Roses, because it's going to be what's going on, what am I doing? So you will have that opportunity to either, be a hero and save their business, take over their business, take over their customers. It's going to be quite an opportunity for partners that are well prepared compared to the ones that are caught off guard on this. Because again, the requirements are a lot harder. They're, again, like gold plus requirements. So partners today that are silver, will have to work hard to meet those requirements by October 2023. They're definitely not impossible. A lot of the times it's the reporting that's making it seem that it's a lot harder than it is. And we have been offering, one-on-one consultations to really help partners map out their own roadmap to this new program, to make sure that they don't lose anything. Not the legacy incentives, not the NC incentives, and then of course, as of October 2023, they'll be in the new program. I think I made it to the end alive. Still, I may not be able to talk for the rest of the day, but that's okay. The important part was done. Did we have any questions, or did people just leave in fear?
Yeah, no, there's no gifts in the chat here, but I'd imagine a lot of these going on right now. No, it's super informative. Honestly, I went through this once or twice with you. Thankfully, for as little as I was able to contribute here today, but definitely a few questions. And just so everyone knows, you mentioned there are one-on-one consultations that we can offer. Again, no minimum bar, let's say, just being a good partner. So that's something we can do. Some of the questions in the chat are a little bit more specific, so I don't believe we'll be able to address them all. But we can, we'll definitely take a stab at least a few of them. So let me just get one that isn't too long. So we have one here. So what does partnership with larger MSPs mean? That's something that we went through.
Yeah, it can mean a lot of things. It could be just a gentleman's agreement where you say, hey, what's your MPN ID? And you put the larger MSP's MPN ID in your portal, whether it's through Sherweb or anyone, so that larger MSP that meets all of the criteria gets the recognition from Microsoft, and then they give you, whether in a brand envelope, a VMO payment or whatnot, your share of incentives that you would not be able to get otherwise. You can go a bit, more formal, where you could combine forces on the Microsoft level, meaning that you would have one partner that would become the headquarter partner center, and that the other MSP or MSPs would become business locations under this big partner. So this is a great way to simplify and to make sure that all of this is very transparent, because all of these business locations will have their unique identifiers. So you'll be able to see who's earning what, who's contributing what. But again, it has to be a partnership, an alliance of some kind. It can't be with just random strangers. So if you are part of a buying group or an alliance of some kind, conversations with like-minded people might be a good idea. And then, of course, there is the full-on, merger and acquisition, just selling to the larger MSP and having them merge the partner center account and merge the legal entities as well.
Super well said. We had another one here in regards to the billed revenue. Is that monthly or annually?
In my examples, it is monthly. It is a monthly recurring revenue. So if you are a Sherweb partner and you're looking at your front page of Cumulus, your MRR, like your monthly contribution, that's a great way to find out. Of course, you have to take out the non-Microsoft products. We see a lot of the great non-Microsoft products on the screen right now, but That revenue will not count for that, but otherwise, that's what you want to look at to see where you are. But like James said earlier, if you're expiring, like say right now you have 3K of revenue, but you know you have a customer coming in a couple of months and that you'll be at 10K, by September. Well, by all means, do come to the webinar that's geared towards the 10K partner. You'll find a lot of appropriate content for you.
Another one. I just want to try not to leave anyone out. Some of the questions are really great. Anything over, let's say, 45 words, I probably won't say right now. So I'm sticking to somewhat of the shorter ones. Just as a disclaimer here. And do we have any idea of the new benefits? What to expect? I believe in the partner center.
Yep. If you go into the partner center under the membership section, you will see that on the left navigation pane, there is a new subsection called Solutions Partner. Then you'll have overview, business application, all the 6 different areas. You can click on any of these things, either overview or any of the solutions designation. And then on the following page, at the top of the page, there will be benefits for solutions partners. You'll be able to download that. It's a pretty short PDF that has all of the different benefits that you can get from the solutions designation. They are a lot like the gold type benefits that you were getting in the past, but most of them are better. So let's say, for example, that you were able to get $12,000 a year of Azure credits with a gold in cloud platform. Well, now getting a solutions designation as an infrastructure, you will get $12,000 a year of Azure credits for a dev or test environment, and an additional $6,000 a year for a production environment. And I may be inverting those numbers. I know most of them by heart, but not all of it 100% yet. But it is to say that most of them are slightly better. For example, cloud productivity. That one you were able to get an extra 100 M365 E3s. So by being a gold partner in cloud productivity, you had 200 M365 E3s. But now a solutions partner in Modern Work will get 200 M365 E5s included. So that's the Cadillac of the licensing with all of the advanced security and compliance that you can fully test and use internally to make sure that whenever you're promoting this to your customers, you know what you're talking about.
Yep, and we'll get to play with it, get familiar. It's personally the one of the few ways I can learn here. Here is one is a little bit more specific. So we're currently a gold partner with Advanced in ACM. Renewal is October 31. Do we lose some advantages? We lose some advantages that renew in September. Maybe I'll question them.
No, but I think I get the question. Like, you'll have to make sure that you take a look at all the different competencies that you may or may not have subscribed to. Like I said earlier, like say for example, you have 13 different competencies at the gold level, but you see that hey, for cloud productivity, we have one exam away from getting an extra 100 licenses. Would be a good idea just to make sure that when October 3rd comes around, when your October 31st comes around on your renewal date, you can make the absolute best decision for your company based on the new benefits package and the old benefits package. And it's not a forced choice because, oh, we didn't get to hit those things in time, so we have to go with the new program if we want to make sure, we get anything from Microsoft. But otherwise, because your anniversary date will be after October 3rd, on October 31st, you will actually, get to choose the steak or the salmon. It's going to be your choice at that point. We just want to make sure that you're as well positioned as possible between the two choices, when that day comes.
Very well. We have a couple of the usual questions. So yes, absolutely, a recording of this will be available to you. In regards to getting some more tailored approach or guidance on this, definitely do reach out to your account manager. If you don't have an account manager, well, you're in luck. In the next week or so, surely one of our colleagues will reach out. As obviously everyone who attended the webinar and provided valid info will be contacted. For all of those you who are already in touch with your account reps, not to worry, we're not going to solicit you further, but just at least we know there's a rapport. At least we know you're supported. Is more where I was going there. So that was for the who could we contact. I know we're on the right path. So again, for any of you who have not had a chance to work with Alex, he is the expert in my opinion. So you'll surely be connected with him. As well as future webinars, some collateral skill path, as Alex mentioned, in our partner university, which has tons of learning available across all the product lines here. I'm just looking to understand the difference between SMB status and modern work status. Was another question.
Modern work is really the solutions area. And within the solutions area, you have two different tracks, either the SMB or the enterprise track. So when we're talking about SMB in the Microsoft world, it again is 300 users and less, which is why whenever you have licensing with the word business in them, it means there is a 300 user limit. What's going to be important with that modern work solutions designation, and that one we'll cover a lot more in June, because again, that's where a lot of our partners will want to focus on, is that how they differentiate between the SMB customers and the enterprise customers. It is not about the type of licensing that you're giving to them, but the amount of the paid available units. So PAU, I think, is the acronym, PAU. So that means that it's based on the Azure AD environment of the tenant. So if you have a customer that has 10 business basic licenses, but that in their Azure AD environment, they have 350 users total, this customer will fall under the enterprise track. And conversely, if you have a user with 290 M365 E5 licenses out of a Azure AD that has 295 users total, that will fall under the SMB track. So that one is going to be a little bit challenging since they're dividing the customers into one or the other. But subject to change, subject to improvement for Microsoft, we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that solution designation, because we do feel that most of the partners that are CSPs and MSPs, will want to at least look at that one, or will be the first one that they'll want to hit.
Okay, well said. We had one. So would it be an oversimplification to say that if you're not currently silver or gold, this isn't going to make much difference?
It's not going to be much difference on your day-to-day. That's very fair to say. But if you're not aware of these changes, and you were building your business model on the already thin margins that you were getting, from Microsoft, from Sherweb, or from wherever you're getting the Microsoft licensing from, expect life to become that much harder in October, because a lot of partners that are aware of these changes are going to be, doing like an outreach and awareness campaign. They're going to try to solicit, more customers, because they have to hit these targets. So you may want to consider, going all in on your professional services, bundling as much as possible so that your licensing cost is really hidden and your package. But times are going to be more difficult for the Microsoft profitability for partners that are not, playing into this ecosystem.
Yeah. So again, we're just trying to keep everyone as informed, as ahead as possible, and just give some ideas. And so, like I was saying, it may not affect you today, but it's the 6, the 12, or the 17 months where we find ourselves now. That's what we want to help everyone really stay ahead of. That one we got. Thank you for that one. How are the benefits handled under the alliance scenarios? So, i.e., with larger MSPs with business locations. So I guess just how does the MCP?
Well, that would be, unless that changes, and again, with Microsoft, it could change. As long as it's on a different line item in your benefits package, you can deploy it to a different tenant. So you could have, headquarter partner A that has the M365 E5s, and then business location, allied partner B that gets the 25 business premium. That could very much work, but I would suspect that in most of the cases, whenever alliances like that are formed, the partner that's kind of requesting or needing that alliance will not be able to get any of the free licenses that come with it. The main partner, the bigger partner, will keep all of those internally. But there's always the option to create another partner center account independently and buy an action pack, right? So you can still have at least the 5 free licenses from Microsoft under those alliances, but those are mainly at the it's like brainstorm level right now, because obviously it's very far in the future.
Right.
It's just that you have to start thinking today about what's going to happen in October 2023. You don't want to be caught off guard. If that means, again, creating some alliances in some ways that I haven't even touched on, that are, completely different, that may work for you. It's just that not doing anything, we know where that's going to lead, and we want to avoid that for as many of our partners as possible.
Absolutely, and like Alex kind of threw it out there earlier on, if you're not a Sherweb partner, this is the type of stuff we like to stay ahead of. Alex in particular is um, dedicated, I guess is is the softest way I can say that, but he helps us to stay informed internally as well as for our base. We have another one here. Is we are a 5 to 6K partner for O365, so congratulations, and that is surely through Sherweb. So keep it up, and we really appreciate you. How does this affect you or this partner as a 5 to 6K reseller?
I would come to the June presentation because that falls, right smack in the middle of, that type of partner and the advice that we want to give on those. So for 5 to 6K a month, it's definitely worth trying to secure as many competencies at the silver level before October, and then likely writing out those grandfather benefits all the way until October 2023. And from October 22 to October 23, trying to map out the success path to reach solutions designation by October 2023, or to have some other sort of strategy, maybe even an exit strategy at that point. And it doesn't have to be like, going out of business, but, with Sherweb, we talked about, the different models that we have, but there is a model where, you're not billing your customers. Like for the Microsoft piece, it's going through our advisor program, so that you're still getting kind of recognized for it, but you don't have the headache, the financial risk that comes with the NC commitments. So there are a lot of things that we want to help you plan for if this is your situation. Again, there's no solution. There's always an opportunity wherever you are. We just, since it's very different, it's like a Goldilocks thing, right? Like we want to make sure we talk to the right partner, the right size type of advice for where they are, because not everything is going to fit for everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Today is very much broad strokes for as much as we have. This information is available, or most of it is available in the MPN, the current MPN and the Partner Center. So if you do want to deep dive on your own, by all means. Alex knows I don't necessarily have the the resilience to do all that, so he's helping to simplify it for all of us here today. So it isn't a one size fits all. It's where you are, where do you want to go, and then from there we can definitely help kind of lay out a tentative map with you.
Yeah.
But it's
And for the record, James, like you do a lot of things that I can't do as well, right? Like all the stuff in like telecom and all of that. I don't even know how you get to, figure half of it out. But we're very happy to have you as well.
yeah, no, hey, it takes teamwork to make the dream work.
Always a
The last.
$5
We just have 2 minutes left here, so let's try and squeeze a last one in. If an SMB if an SMB customer grows and they fall in the modern work category, do we lose the SMB provider status if that client is placed in the modern work category?
I'm not exactly sure if if I'm understanding like all the right terms, like if you're saying that for the modern work, if you're right now under the SMB track and you have a customer that's with 200 monthly available units, and now they add 100 employees, 150 employees, and they go over the 300. As far as I can right now, educated guess, the following month, which is on the 15th, that the reporting gets updated for solutions area, they would be moved over to the enterprise track because now they are above the the SMB qualification. There is also a minimum for the SMB. It has to be at least 10 paid available units, for them to count as a customer. So for some of you that may remember, for the small market cloud solutions at the silver level, adding a new customer required simply one license of Business Basic, and there you go, you have your new customer. That has changed. It's now 10 paid available units to be able to count as a customer under the SMB track. So again, we'll see what the Microsoft says with the oncoming updates over the next month. But right now, as things stands, I would say that this SMB customer will be moved over to the enterprise track if they have more than 300 paid available units, even if they didn't at the beginning.
Super cool. No, well, honestly, I thank everyone. There is still a lot of people here. For everyone who did take the time to attend today, again, thank you so much. If you're as kind of wowed as I am there here, do feel free to share with your account rep. As well, if you have any other questions, if you're more the deer in the headlights after some of this as well, there too, don't be shy to reach out. Again, through Microsoft is absolutely a big part of what we do. We do have some other options as well, should you want to explore. That is it for today's webinar. Again, the recording will be made available to you. My name is James. This guy over here is Alex. So do reach out, do ask for a consultation for some of your more specific situations. And again, thank you all for taking the time. Alex, chapeau, hats off once again, my friend.
Thanks very much, James. You are too kind. And you need to set lower expectations because now they're going to be expecting great things from those consultations. And I'll try very
They
hard.
are great. And the June, July, August webinars also upcoming, as well as some news around Microsoft Teams. Alex said this is an area I can feel more confident, but there's some great stuff coming up there as well. So do stay tuned to all the good stuff our team is working on for you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.